couple of weeks ago, while at the Stop Watching Us rally here in D.C., I had the privilege of witnessing a young man named Malachi Byrd recite an extremely profound spoken word performance.
So we pledge civil disobedience to the flag of the hypocritical tyrants that expect us to assimilate, and to this republic which barely stands is one nation under many gods are individuals stripped of their liberties and in need of justice for all.
This high school student inspired me and countless others, so I invite him on the show to talk about another topic he's passionate about: education. Here's Malachi Byrd performing Intelligence.
Merriam-Webster defines intelligence as the ability to learn, understand, or deal with new or trying situations. The American school system, and consequently the American public, define intelligence as 2,400 SAT, 36 ACT, 4.0 GPA, a repertoire of irregular, unnecessary synonyms, the ability to preach without true practice. There was a time where I wanted to conform. But as a black boy, I was told I was inadequate. As a good test taker, I was told I was intelligent, told I was just a product of added pressure from multiplying economic obstacles and racial divides that subtracted my motivation, but still couldn't excel in a mathematician profession because of my pigment. Citizen issue depression always hit the hardest. Stephanie Grace, esteemed Ivy League graduate, says blacks are genetically inferior, less intelligent than whites. Well, Ms. Grace, let my 3 millenniums of African blood and my 3 decades of American force-fed education intertwine into ingredients for your food for thought. I'm sure that your conclusions are primarily reflective of stats that blacks only comprise 13% of Ivy League school attendees. But I don't need to be valedictorian to tell you that. We don't need Princeton's approval to tell you that we've already given birth to tons of princes. If Dartmouth perceives the poetic, expressive darts that spew from our mouths as ignorance, it doesn't mean that we aren't powerful. I understand your struggle. You're upset that you let pin you down under the weight of that common application that transformed you from sweetheart to statistic. But even you being a white woman and me being a black boy, I hear your subconscious screaming, screw Cornell, Columbia, Harvard, and Yale. You just want to be brown. You just want to be brown, to be the brown soil that was casted off as dirt but then sprouted the most beautiful wallflowers, to be the brown tree that was casted off as frail but has the strongest of roots. I'll tell you where you weakened your foundation. You conformed and lost your uniqueness. Aced your SAT and sat in complacency. You let your score on the ACT act as your only identifier. If your GPA was your only GPS on your path to success, you might have money and you might be well known, but it does not make you a strong woman. Taking an African American studies course does not mean you understand my race. If we were to let our complexion only be a reflection of the darkness of a bubble in a scantron, we would just be confining ourselves to bars on an American graph. And I'm pretty sure that you already think that we'll be confined to bars on America's behalf. So Ms. Grace, this is not a hate letter. This is not lyrical ammunition promising threats, because you probably expect that. So this is an aggressive, yet peaceful, yet non-peaceful protest against any teacher that looked at me like I was a shooting star in the dark hole of my ethnicity because I enunciate my words like they do. This is a war cry against any outsider enemy who questions why we wear fatigues in the oppressive heat and why we casually cop combat boots. It's because we are warriors. Troy Davis system failure recorders, Jordan Davis Jenna 6 newscast reporters, militants turned minion to a school system society that's trying to strip us of a title that we truly deserve. Merriam-Webster defines intelligence as the ability to learn, understand, or deal with new or trying situations. And that is all my people have done. So Ms. Grace, I know that the society has told you that you are mentally intelligent, and therefore you have the right to deem blacks genetically inferior. But on the contrary, your assumptions only want to prove that you are mentally inferior and that we are genetically and simply intelligent.
Amazing, Malachi. Thanks for coming in and talking a little bit about your performance. What was the inspiration for Intelligence?
Well, I had several inspirations. One, I've always been deemed as intelligent, and my mother and father both completed some college, and so really it was just me realizing that qualities and good characteristics in people come beyond what can be seen on a transcript or a resume. And so just my experience with that, and also hearing Stephanie Grace, as I quoted in the poem, saying that blacks were genetically inferior, and that she quoted test scores and other types of reports and things like that, just made me try to emphasize the good in a human being and not necessarily what comes from test scores or GPAs.
It's extremely shockingly offensive that anyone could actually be saying that at this point in time. What kind of effect do you think that standardizing education has on the process of learning?
Right. I simply believe that it compares people to false standards, and is a really bad way of comparing someone's value, measuring someone's value. I saw this political cartoon of 5 different animals trying to climb a tree, and it was a monkey and swimming animals and flying animals, but only the monkey could climb the tree, and it was just saying that the other animals weren't valuable because they couldn't climb the tree, and that's essentially what it is like devaluing some students because they don't perform well in certain things.
Yeah, the unique characteristics that we all have. It's really a great analogy, actually. You gave an amazing spoken word performance that I just played a little clip of the NSA rally. I'm just curious, being in high school, I mean, you grew up kind of in this post-9/11 world where the Patriot Act happened before you're probably politically active. What inspired you to get into anti-surveillance activism at this age?
Right. First, it started with my induction into Cesar Chavez Public Charter School for Public Policy. So it's a public policy school, and a lot of our curriculum is based around public policy, and public policy is emphasized in our school. And so it really got me looking into politics more, and looking at the cause of it, and not just necessarily, oh, I see this happening, but also I have the ability to make a change. And that's what happened at the rally. I got the ability to speak, and I dug into the issue, and I created a spoken word piece about it, and I performed.
That's amazing. Talk about this large spoken word troupe that you're a part of. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Right, DCU Slam Team. I wish I had my team here so that I can call out our chant, Shaka Zune, 3 stars, 2 bars, which is reflective of the 3 stars and 2 bars on the DC flag. So we're essentially at the intersection of social justice and social change and art. So it's like bringing to the light our abilities and how we can use that to change the world and our community around us. And so we're a wonderful collective of the DC area high school students.
That's amazing. Where do you guys perform? Can people check out more about you anywhere?
Definitely. Everywhere. All social media sites, DCU Slam, the open mics at Busboys, 5th and K location, we host those, and anything. DCU Slam Team on YouTube, anyway.
And I'm just curious, you know, as a high school student, are you a DC native?
Yes, I'm a DC native.
I mean, how do you feel just growing up kind of in the belly of the beast? Are a lot of kids your age politically charged as well?
Mm-hmm. It's really interesting, and it's really stimulating to just take in all that's around me. I've lived in rural, suburban, and urban atmospheres, but this is really where I'm from, and just to see the drastic differences and see the change that this city has gone through in just my age is really interesting, and it just makes me want to get into things more. And
it's an incredible city, a lot going on. Thank you for being a part of that. Malachi Byrd, spoken word artist for DC Youth Slam Team. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That's it for our show, you guys. Thanks for watching. Join me again when I break the set over again. Until then, have a great night, you guys.